Hello students, myself Professor S.J. Rahmat from Department of Civil Engineering, KLS VDIT, Halia. Students, in the last class we have discussed about the two topics, that is design of hydraulic elements for circular sewers for full flow and partial flow condition. And also we have solved few numerical problems on design of sewers. So in the design of hydraulic elements for circular sewers, we have seen the different elements like cross sectional area, wetted perimeter, as well as hydraulic mean radius, etc. And also using the formula like Manning's formula, etc., we can design the required circular section of the sewers. Related to that, we have solved few numericals. Today we'll discuss another topic of the subject, that is disposal of effluents by dilution. Now, before discussing this disposal of effluents by dilution itself, let me discuss about the disposal of effluents here. So, what are the objects of disposal of sewage? The objectives of sewage or wastewater disposal are: first one is to eliminate or reduce danger to public health by possible contamination of water supplies. Second one is to render the sewage inoffensive without causing odor or nuisance. Third one is to prevent the life of fish or other aquatic life by allowing raw sewage into the bodies of water as such. The destruction of fish and other aquatic life can be prevented by the sewage disposal method. With proper sewage disposal, the environment or the areas does not become polluted. Sanitary conditions are maintained in the area. There are two principal methods of sewage disposal by utilizing natural agencies here. First among them is dilution, that is disposal of sewage in water, and second one is land disposal or irrigation here. Now we will discuss in detail about the first method, that is dilution. That is nothing but the disposal of sewage in water. Now, dilution is the disposal of sewage or wastewater by discharging it into large bodies of water like sea, streams, rivers, etc. This method is possible only when the natural water is available in large quantity near the town. Proper care should be taken while discharging sewage in water so that sewage or wastewater may not pollute natural water and make it unfit for any other purpose like bathing, drinking, irrigation, etc. here. The dilution method for disposing of the sewer can be favorable when the sewage is completely fresh. Second one is when the diluting water has a high DO content. Third one is where diluting waters are not used for the purpose of navigation. Fourth one is where the flow of currents of the diluting water are favorable, causing no deposition, nuisance or destruction of aquatic life. Fifth one is when the outfall sewer of the city or the treatment plant is situated near natural water resource. Now, before discussing the method of dilution, we should have some idea about the types of receiving waters and how the dilution is done. The following are the types of receiving waters into which wastewater or effluent can be discharged for dilution. First one is lakes, second one is estuary, third one is creeks, fourth one is perennial rivers or streams, and fifth, last one is ocean or sea. Above sources of water are probably the best type of receiving waters, since the water is in continuous motion. Also, in the natural streams, there is a balance between plant and animal life with considerable interaction among the various life forms. However, the discharge flowing during summer and during winter varies. During summer, there may be minimum flow in the stream, so the dilution factor may be low, and also high temperature of water may result in low solubility of oxygen, necessitating proper treatment before dilution. Now, come to the first uh, resource of water, that is lakes. Sometimes, especially when the perennial streams are not available, lakes may be used for dilution. Various characteristics of lakes, such as its size, shape, volume of fresh water flowing into it, etc., should be critically examined before deciding the self purifying capacity. Second resource of water where the dilution can be carried out is creeks. A creek is in the form of an inlet on sea coast, which may not have dry weather flow during some part of the year. Due to this, great care should be taken in disposal of effluent into it. Next one is estuary. Estuary is a wide lower tidal part of the river. Hence, dilution in an estuary is affected both by ocean water as well as river water. However, the process of dilution is generally satisfactory in estuaries. Next one is perennial rivers or streams. These are probably the best type of receiving waters since the water is in continuous motion. Also, in the natural streams, there is a balance between plant and animal life with considerable interaction among the various life forms. However, the discharge flowing during summer and during winter varies. During summer, there may be minimum flow in the stream, so the dilution factor may be low, and also high temperature of water may result in low solubility of oxygen, necessitating proper treatment before dilution here. Now, next source of water where the dilution can be done is ocean or sea. Ocean or sea water normally contains 20% less oxygen than that contained in fresh water of a river stream. Moreover, sea water normally contains a large amount of dissolved matter. As such, the capacity of sea water to absorb sewage solids is not as high as that of fresh water of a stream. Moreover, sewage solids, when thrown into sea water, chemically react with dissolved matter of sea water, resulting in precipitating of some sewage solids, giving a milky appearance to the sea water and forming sludge banks. These sludge banks are undesirable as they are likely to produce offensive hydrogen sulfide gas by reacting with the sulfate rich water of the sea. As pointed out earlier, the oxygen content of sea water and also its aeration is slower. However, since the sea contains too large volume of water, most of these deficiencies get removed, provided the sewage is taken deep into the sea and away from the coastline. Since the specific gravity of sea water is greater than that of sewage and temperature of sea water is lower than that of sewage, the lighter and warmer sewage will rise up to the surface when thrown into the sea water. This will result in spreading of the sewage at the top surface of sea in a thin film, or it is called as sleek. To prevent the backing up and spreading of sewage on the seashore, the sewage should preferably be disposed of during low tides. For this, large size tanks may be therefore sometimes be constructed to hold the sewage during high tides. Provision of a large sized sewer grated with a non-return valve at the outfall end is also an alternative to hold the sewage during high tides. In all, the following points should be kept in mind while discharging sewage into the sea to avoid marine pollution. First one is the sewage should be discharged in deep sea only. Second one is in order to mix the sewage properly with sea water, the sewage should be released at a minimum depth of 3 to 5 meters below the water level and by taking it sufficiently inside, about 1 kilometer from the shore, will prevent the sewage from accumulating on the shore. Before deciding the position of outfall point, the sea currents, wind direction, velocity, etc. should be thoroughly studied. The point of disposal should be such that the sewage is taken away from the shore by the winds and not brought back near to the shore. Fourth one is the outfall sewer should be placed on a firm rocky foundation and encased in thick stone machinery so as to properly protect it from wave action, floating debris, etc. The discharge of wastewater into the sea should, however, be controlled in respect of quality of the effluents by adhering to the prescribed standards. The standards prescribed by BIS, that is Bureau of Indian Standards, under IS 1968-1976 are as shown below in table. This particular table shows the constituent pollutant contained in the wastewater effluent as well as tolerance limit here. The BOD 5 should not exceed 100 mg per liter, COD should not exceed 250 mg per liter. The pH value of wastewater should not be or should be in between 5.5 to 9, and total suspended solids should not be more than 100 mg per liter, and oil and grease content of the wastewater should not be more than 20 mg per liter. Similarly, the fluorides as F should not be more than 15 mg per liter, and should not also contain the ammonia nitrogen more than 50 mg per liter. An Indian example of discharge of city sewage into the sea can be seen in Mumbai city, where the Loughborough wastewater treatment facility terminal at Worli, Mumbai is disposing of the partially treated sewage at 3.5 kilometer distance inside the sea via an underground marine outfall tunnel at 65 meters below the ground level after removing floating materials and inorganic solids through the screens and aerated grit chambers. This STP, that is sewage treatment plant facility, is designed for treating a peak flow of 1820 MLD, that is millions liters per day. The sewage discharge from the area comprising of Church Gate on south to Dadar on north, Mumbai Harbour Railroad Siveri on the east and Arabian Sea on the west flows up to the STP site and is lifted at the influent pumping station, that is known as IPS, containing 7 duty pumps with 1 additional standby unit, each having a designed capacity of 260 MLD, each for a designed head of 12.5 meter. Before being lifted, the sewage is made to pass through 2 numbered trash racks. The size of opening racks will be 150 mm and 4 number coarse screens. Size of opening is 100 mm. Installed upstream of IPS. The lifted sewage is then passed through 8 number fine screens. The size of opening is 20 mm, which discharge the sewage to 4 number aerated grit chamber of size 34.5 meter by 7 meter by 5.1 meter. The chambers are designed as spiral flow aeration tanks provided with air diffusion tubes placed on one side of the tank. The compressed air is discharged at a pressure of 70 kN per meter square at 1500 meter per hour. The compressed air and the geometry of the tank induces a spiral roll that provides centrifugal force to assist in the removal of inorganic materials of size 0.2 mm in diameter or larger with a specific gravity of 2.65, thereby keeping organic matter of lower specific gravity in suspension. The roll also sweeps the settle grit into a bottom hopper or collection trough from where it is periodically removed. The outflowing screened and digested sewage from the grit chamber flows to the sea through marine outfall conduit, normally by passing the effluent pumping station, that is EPS. At higher discharge from IPS, sewage from the grist chamber spills over the EPS, containing 5 centrifugal pumps of 520 mld capacity, each at 5.8 meter head. As the water level rises in the EPS wet well, the pumps at the EPS are turned on. Once the EPS is discharging into the channel leading to marine outfall, the flow in the bypass channel will back up, closing bypass flap gates. All flow will then be pumped through the EPS. The sewage coming out of EPS channel or the bypass channel now enters into a drop shaft on shore, from which it flows into a 3 kilometer long underground RCC circular tunnel of 3.5 meter dia, constructed at an upward slope under the sea bed at a depth of about 65 meter below the ground level. This underground tunnel is named as the marine outfall. The outfalling 240 meter end length of this channel is provided with 10 number riser pipes, each of 1 meter diameter, capped just above the sea bottom with circular caps containing horizontal outlet ports, the elevation of which is about 1 meter above sea bottom, above the layer of sediments suspended by waves. There are 10 outlets of ports of size varying from 220 mm dia to 280 mm dia on each riser. As such, there are 100 outlets on 10 risers. They are at a depth of about 9 meter from the mean sea level to maximize dilution in initial discharges as they rise to the surface. At this selected discharge point in the sea, the direction of currents is such that the plume of sewage is taken away from the shore side towards the deep sea side and spreading the sewage on a wide area. So this is the arrangement you can see in Mumbai. Now come to the standards of dilution for discharge of wastewater into rivers. The ratio of the quantity of the diluting water to that of sewage is known as the dilution factor, and depending upon this factor, the Royal Commission report on sewage disposal has laid down the following standards and degrees of treatment required to be given to a particular sewage. So this particular table will show the standards of dilution based on Royal Commission report. Now, if the dilution factor is above 500, then if you want to discharge the sewage, then no treatment is required raw sewage can be directly discharged into the volume of dilution water. If the dilution factor is in between 300 to 500, then it is suggested for primary treatment such as plain sedimentation should be given to sewage, and the effluent should not contain suspended solids more than 150 mm. If the dilution is again less, that is in between 150 to 300, then as per the report, the treatments such as sedimentation, screening and essentially chemical precipitation are required. The sewage effluent should not contain suspended solids more than 60 ppm or 60 mg per liter. If the dilution factor is less than 150, then it is suggested for complete thorough treatment should be given to sewage. The sewage effluent should not contain suspended solids more than 30 ppm and its 5-day BOD at 18.3 degree centigrade should not exceed 20 ppm. The above standards have been operative in England since 1912 and had also been followed in India without much variance. However, with the increasing pollution of surface streams due to indiscriminate discharge of domestic and industrial wastewaters without bothering to look into the available dilution ratios, it has become imperative to limit the concentration of various pollutants being discharged into the surface water sources along with the sewage and industrial effluent. The tolerance limit for such constituent pollutants have therefore been prescribed by various countries including India. These limits are based upon the desirability of giving full-fledged treatment to sewage and industrial liquid waste up to minimum level of secondary treatment. The Bureau of Indian Standards, that is BIS, previously known as Indian Standard Institution, that is ISI, has therefore laid down its guiding standards for sewage effluent. That is, as per the reference IS 4764 1973, and for industrial effluents with IS 2490 1974. And the details are tabulated as follows here. So this particular table, that is 8.3, shows the general standards for discharge of environment pollutants from effluents into surface water sources, public sewers and marine coasts under Environment Protection Act rules 1986. So first column is serial number and second one is characteristics of the effluent, different characteristics of the effluent and standard prescribed under Environment Protection rules 1986 of GOI, that is Government of India. Now first, if you come to the first characteristics, one of the physical characteristics, that is color and odor. So for inland surface water, all efforts should be made to remove color and unpleasant odors as far as possible. If you want to discharge this effluent to the public sewers, all efforts should be made to remove color and unpleasant odors as far as possible. If you want to again discharge in marine coast, same thing has to be followed. What should be the concentration of total suspended solids, that is TSS? For inland surface water, it should not be more than 100 mg per liter. For public sewers, it should not be more than 600 mg per liter. And if you want to discharge that particular water in ocean, the TSS should not be more than 100 mg per liter. At the same time, particle size of suspended solids, that is, shall pass 80 micron sieves for inland surface water resources, and no specification will be given for public sewers. And for ocean disposal, floatable solids maximum 3 mm and settleable solids maximum 850 microns. Like this, BOD 5 at 20 degrees centigrade for surface water resources should not exceed 30 mg per liter, and for sewers it should not exceed 350 mg per liter, and for ocean it should not exceed 100 mg per liter. Similarly, for COD, for surface waters, it should not be more than 250 mg per liter, and no specification is given for sewers. And if you want to discharge the sewage to the ocean, it should not contain the COD more than 250 mg per liter. Similarly, they have given the permissible limits of different characteristics for surface water resources as well as sewers as well as ocean water. So just you can refer the Santosh Kumar Garg book for few more other characteristics. So I have given you the reference books here. So you can refer Water Supply and Sanitary Engineering by Rangwala, and also you can refer a book which is known as Bible for Environmental Engineers or Wastewater Engineers, that is Wastewater Engineering, Collection, Treatment, Disposal and Reuse by Metcalf and Eddy. And also you can refer Sewage Disposal and Air Pollution Engineering by Santosh Kumar Garg. Students, these topics are very important in sanitary engineering, in municipal services, and also if you want to work as a consulting engineer. So this is about the disposal method, one of the disposal method, that is by dilution. Thank you one and all.